Well, hello. Today I'm going to bring you another video. There is an installation on the Biesemeyer fence on my table saw. Now my table saw is a combination saw. Not a combination, but intermediate saw. It's not a cabinet saw, and it's not a transportable contractor saw. But it's one of those that has a separate motor from the bottom of the saw, and it's very heavy because it's all cast iron, and that's all. But the saw has a fence that wasn't all that good. It was good while the saw was new, but after I used it a couple of years, the fence wasn't getting parallel to the blade anymore. And that was a concern because every time I moved the fence, I noticed it wasn't parallel. Sometimes I had a hang up on the blade, and that could lead to kickbacks and all other kinds of problems. So what I did is break down and spring for a Biesemeyer fence. Not a Biesemeyer type, but a Biesemeyer fence. And this is what this video all about. It's to show you how I install the Okay, now that I unpacked both of the packages, you can see here is a bag full of hardware, and this is perhaps the handle for the fence, to lock the fence in place. I have the owner's manual and the instructions how to put it together. So I'm going to be starting by removing the front rail of this fence system, and perhaps well, don't you know, the Biesemeyer has imperial measurement nuts and hardware, and the old one, the Sears one, or the Craftsman one, had metric. Everything is on backwards these days. Okay, all the screws are loose. Now we remove it. We remove the old fence, put it away. You never know when I'm going to be needing that. Now, here is the new front fence that I'm going to install. Now, this new fence came with two legs. I believe it is for if you want to add an extension to the table, but I don't need it. But I use the two legs to level. The legs are adjustable. It's got a screw to adjust the length. So I turn the legs upside down, and as you can see, I bolt into a piece of square plywood, so I can put the feet upside down and use the adjustable part of it here underneath to adjust the height until this is the gauge that came with the fence, until it's perfectly aligned with the gauge. Here you can see how I use the adjustable leg that came with the kit to adjust the height on that on the angle iron that supports the railing. Nothing else. Then, like I was saying, the peep they came with the it's a little cut on the angle iron. They're supposed to align with the blade, so that the measuring tape that comes with the blade aligns with everything else, you know, with a minor adjustment. Okay, now you can see I attached already the angle iron. I aligned the little peat mark that was here with the peat mark, with the alignment with the blade, as close as I could. I drilled the holes and attached all the bolts that I could find that was okay to do and didn't interfere with anything behind, and already tightened it up. So now it's time to start putting the square tubing that goes on top of it. Okay, as you can see, I already connected installed the square tubing to the angle. The light is not that good because it's coming from the wrong. Okay, as you can see, I already installed the square tubing, and I put down the fence. Now that is I checked it out, and it doesn't need any adjustment whatsoever. It's perfectly. So I will show you that everything is working the way it was meant to work. All that's left to do is put the indicator out here, the witness mark, and adjust that. Let me put it in, and I'll show you how it fits. Okay, now I put the caliper between the blade and the fence, and I measured 4 inches. I put a round number just to be easier. 4 inches, barely touching the fence, flush with the blade. I came to the outside and adjusted the viewer right exactly at 4 inches. So I once adjusted that, I moved it a couple of times. And it was perfectly 4 inches. So move it one more time, and I come back and sit down exactly at 4 inches. So that way I know it's set right. I set it right flush out here with the miter slot, thank God, and over here is flush with the miter slot all the way through, perfectly aligned with the miter slot. So that way I know it's square to the blade, and that's the most important. Well, that's the most important thing on this for getting these fence. I need it to be exactly flush every single time, and not worry about it that it's not flush to the blade. Since the slot is parallel to the blade, so I want the fence to be parallel to the miter slot. Okay, now I made a little jig out here to check the I have a dial indicator. Well, this is a digital type. It's not a normal dial indicator, but I have a runner. It's an aluminum runner, which was originally a T-slot, and I put a couple of pieces of paper to tighten it up. It doesn't matter if it's closer to one side or the other. It doesn't have to be, as long as it doesn't move. You can see it. You can put it all the way to the end, and under the I don't have any jiggle, any movement. So what I'm going to do, I put this on a shoe so I won't be tilting this gauge back and forth. All I wanted to do is to be flat to the table and running through and the guide. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to tighten it here, put some pressure, make sure it's tight to the table, and I zero it, and then I'm going to run it all the way to the other side. So what it's showing out here, there is about the difference between one side and the other is about 2/1000 of an inch. I mean, and I adjusted this by hand, you know, just running it with my fingers through the edge of the slot. That's over. My fingers are that goes to show you that the fingers are so sensitive, they can tell the difference just as good as a digital dial indicator. And that's one of the things, we don't need this if we can do this by hand. It's unbelievable that the fingers are that sensitive. But anyways, the fence is already set, and it is calibrated to a precision, it's to an unbelievable precision anyway. And it's consistent. You can do it and do it and do it again, you know, and it'll be consistent. You can put it again, bring the fence, tighten it, zero the gauge, put some pressure on the shoe, so that way you know that it's not going to be moving back and forth. Put the pressure on the shoe, zero it, and then run it. And you'll see there is less than 3/1000 of an inch. Perfect.